Katy Perry's Witness is an album that divides fans and critics. We know the album wasn't received too well and brought with it a lot of disagreement. While I won't go into any of these issues in this video, as I've covered them in separate videos, we will be looking at the album's rollout and what way it could have been improved. The singles from this album, Chained to the Rhythm, Bon Appetit, and Swish Swish, are regarded by some as the reason this album suffered. If your singles don't represent your album accurately in the eyes of the listener, they're not going to be fully invested. So in this video, we're going to theoretically go back in time to the release of Witness and think of different single options or campaigns Katy could have used to reshape the era differently, attempting to offer it more success. While this will be a lot of speculation and hypotheticals, let's see if we can develop a realistic plan. Now, you may love the existing singles and be happy with the era as a whole, which is okay. And this video isn't to say there's one right way this album could have gone. As we continue, let me know how you think Katy Perry's Witness era could have gone, and what would have helped it be received better. So let's reimagine Katy Perry's Witness right now on Pop Dissected. In May of 2016, both Witness and a snippet of Rise were leaked. I don't know if this was a mainstream deal or it went primarily under the radar, but this could have been a good time to take action on Katy's end. Well, yes, we knew at the time she was still creating the album and she would tease many tracks in December of that year. Let's operate under the idea this album is closer to completion or is done. Katy Perry primarily has always had summer rollouts. She even did it with Smile. So the first thing I think we should adjust is having Witness have a fall release with its campaign beginning in the summer. Rise was a moderate hit, but given the fact it peaked at number 11 on the Hot 100, we can assume it really had potential to do some numbers. With that, we're going to have Rise be our lead single. I think Rise was really one of the hits that got away, and this had the potential to be the start of the era. Rise came out on July 14th of 2016, so let's keep that release date. Since Rise is our lead, that means it will be on our hypothetical Witness album, officially. All officially released tracks will also remain on the album too. Rise was released to be featured in coverage of the 2016 Olympics, so we're already off to a pretty good start for promotion. The track got 2 videos but only one live performance at the 2016 Democratic National Convention at the end of July. Since the VMAs would be at the end of August, let's throw in another live performance. We would also have a few more award shows that fall, but we'll get to those in a moment. Katy very well also could have opted to perform on something like Good Morning America, giving Rise its final punch before we get into the release of another song. We can't be sure how Rise would have done on the charts under these circumstances, but if it got a push like this, we could likely break the top 5 of the Hot 100. The end of September will host events such as the iHeartRadio Music Festival and the iTunes Festival, and 2016 would actually be the last year the iTunes Festival would run, so we've got to take advantage of it. However, we're gonna need some more songs. With Katy's idea of Witness being about this inner reflection of herself, I think having the title track come out as a promotional single, since it's one of the more streamed songs off the album. Katy could use this opportunity to more comprehensively flesh out this idea of authenticity by having a very cool video, perhaps one that references her career before then and her struggles with being a pop star, being Katy Perry. I'm thinking maybe something akin to Wide Awake that is self-referential, and the video could have scenes of Katy wandering through her past videos or career highlights and give us an insight into how she doesn't truly feel seen despite all these momentous achievements. In this timeline, let's say Katy might still get her pixie cut. So the end of the Witness video could have her revealing her new look, shedding the stereotypical pop star construct and letting us see who Katherine Hudson is. This approach would likely better sell the idea of purposeful pop, especially if we're following an anthemic, uplifting song like Rise, which given the political climate at the time had its merit and a warranted release. So we have Katy tackling a political liberation in a more subdued way with Rise, and then we have an internal liberation with the title track, since Katy has stated the album is about 360 liberation. I feel like Witness could get moderate traction if we assume Rise did really well. And since it's getting a live performance at the iHeartRadio and iTunes Festival, I would argue it could crack the top 25 perhaps. Dark Horse aside, since it became a fully fledged single, Katy's last real promotional single that was intended to be such was Walking on Air, which peaked at number 34 on the Hot 100. So maybe a hopeful 25 for Witness is pushing it. But that's just our promo single, because we're going to need a second official single. We need a change of energy, and I'm thinking of a song that really does pack a punch. Chained to the Rhythm. This was always a good single choice in my opinion, and could continue these introspective motifs, and if we release it in mid-September, it would likely be fitting ahead of the election. Let's keep Chained to the Rhythm's peak position of number 4. This song, alongside Rise and Witness, could be part of her festival lineup, and maybe she could throw in Into Me You See or Save As Draft, since a slower, more emotional song would offer a bit more diversity with the content. Though some people have a mixed reception to Katy's Witness Worldwide livestream, this is the event we still need to have happen leading up to the album's release. Let's say the album is now coming out to mid to late October of 2016, since generally Katy's albums come out 2 or so months after the initial single releases. One thing that Katy could benefit from is being interactive with her fans. During Prism, she let us unlock Dark Horse and Walking on Air lyrics, and I like how she really encouraged fans to find disco balls to listen to Chained to the Rhythm early, so let's keep that idea in place. Her Witness Worldwide, I don't think it needs to take place over so many days and should be streamlined to really only be for the album's release day and perhaps the day before or after. While that may negate a lot of intentions Katy had for the event, it would end up saving her a lot of mockery she endured from the public. I think pivotal things like her therapy session, her discussion about her career, learning from her mistakes, and trying to educate herself, and so on, should all be part of this live stream. Because when we think about it, Katy used this opportunity to reveal she doesn't know anything and she is thirsty for knowledge. People said she was dumb and she didn't know anything. We all remember.
Is math related to science?
But I think if we look past that with what we have set up so far, we could really see Katy proving to her audience and everyone watching that she wants to change, she wants to grow, and that would really help build the authenticity of this album. So in turn, this live stream won't be all over the place and get muddled in with the album's messaging. Again, the live stream is meant to give a look into Katy Perry's day-to-day, but it's just going to be a lot better, I think, if it's streamlined. Continuing on to the idea with interactivity, it may have been cool if Katy personally called fans and spoke with them on the live stream, like her Zoom sessions during the Smile era. And since the live stream does end with a concert, she could have picked a pretty sizable venue that is prominent in LA and have a type of raffle for the tickets, or have it be a surprise concert where tickets go up just a few hours before the show happens. Who knows? But I think that concert really should be an opportunity to build buzz and get people out to hear these new songs with a really impressive stage show. Cause truth be told, the concert we got for Witness Worldwide, I don't want to be a hater because I do love Katy, but I felt the stage was unimpressive. I wasn't a particular fan of the outfit she was wearing, and I think she could have had a more grand finale to something that was pretty interesting and different. So we have 2 singles out, a good amount of live performances, our live stream, and now the official album release, which as I stated would happen in October. I think this more solid rollout that mitigates a bit of what Katy got flack for during 2017 could help Witness still debut at number 1, but perhaps not such a big drop the week after or debut with upwards of 200,000 units, comparative to the album's actual 180,000. Since our album is coming out in late October, and we have not only the 2016 AMAs and MTV EMAs at the end of November, we're gonna need another single. We're entering our winter month, so let's push Save As Draft as our next single. Since we already had it as part of the lineup for our festivals, we could get some very conceptual performances for this song. Perhaps something involving machinery or technology, since the track has keyboard clicks in it. Now, I don't think this song would do too well, to be completely honest, If we say Rise hit its peak between 1 and 5, Chain to the Rhythm keeps its 4 position, and our promo single Witness falls within the top 25 to 40, where does that leave Save as Draft? I'll be honest, I could say this track would be a chart dipper, maybe coming in with a similar top 25 to 40, but with a handful of live performances and a killer video, we could see it scrape within the top 20 if we want to push our imagination, perhaps akin to Unconditionally, which peaked at 14 and was another slower ballad. December would bring us New Year's Rockin' Eve and the Jingle Bell Ball Festival, in which Katy could perform a mini set of her singles and some old favorites. Now, we've talked a lot about performances, and let me tell you why. Looking at a lot of these lineups for every event mentioned, there isn't anyone performing who Katy could consider heavy competition. Of course, the 2016 VMAs had Rihanna, Beyonce, Ariana Grande, Nicki Minaj, and Britney Spears. I think this lineup of female performers allows Katy to perform Rise, a song totally different from her peers, yet still bring in press since the whole lineup of female artists is pretty small, and the lineup in general. Another example is the Jingle Bell Ball, which had Little Mix, Dua Lipa in her infancy, and Ellie Goulding. Without a doubt, Katy could have commanded eyes on her against these artists. Now, I don't want anyone to think by my saying this, I mean these artists don't perform well or are less than. But the bulk of these lineups offer a different selection of stars that I don't think brought the competition for women like it did in the early 2010s when it was jam-packed with performers. I've also personally felt that this mid-decade era had this odd exchange of who the new pop stars are and who is rising. This is why Katy taking advantage of these performances during a peak of low pop girl saturation, for the most part, would help. Now, Joanne did come out in October of 2016, so who knows if there'd be another dumb Katy versus Gaga scenario, but given we're working with two completely different albums sonically and thematically, I don't find it to be an issue. Britney Spears also released Glory, but given it was a dud in its own right, which I did a video on, and was released pretty far ahead of our version of Witness, I don't think we'll have an issue with that. I know it may seem like I'm overestimating Katy's power here, but this period of time would have helped her get ahead of the curve in my opinion. So after December, I feel like we'd probably have a little mini hiatus, so Katy can prepare for the 2017 Grammys in which she'd perform her new single, Roulette. She could also have a commercial run during the ceremony that announces her brand new tour, followed with an extensive social media push, billboards, the like of it. We see artists do all kinds of crazy things, so Katy, slap your face on buses. Put your face on airplanes. Drive around in a tractor trailer. Something really big and kind of kooky like that would be really helpful. That interactivity is so important, so I think what we could also do is have interactivity with the singles that are being released, not just the live stream. So if we're hunting disco balls for Chain to the Rhythm, and if we're looking for clues and Easter eggs in the Witness video, and for the release of Rise, let's say we got the possibility to enter a raffle to win future concert tickets or seats at the Olympics. I don't even know if that's possible, but something akin to the theme of what the song is surrounding. Sports, the Olympics, all that stuff. Since the album's already out, then what kind of interactive promotion could we do with Roulette? Well, if we remember during the Smile era, Katy posted this interactive thing where you could pop balloons to release the album's cover. She could release something similar like that with Roulette that was an interactive roulette wheel that progressively revealed letters of the bonus tracks, Dance with the Devil and Act My Age, which we can assume had not been released at this point. So I think that could possibly be a fun way to get audiences and fans to engage with the song and listen to it. Fans do agree, Roulette is one of the hits that got away, and since the Brit Awards and iHeartRadio Music Awards are only a few weeks after the 2017 Grammys, this is the perfect time to push this song. I could see Roulette easily falling within the top 10 of the Hot 100, and given it has a dark, edgy video, it could have been like the hit from our Witness era. At this point, I think operations resume as normal, and Katy hits the road in late May. If we think Roulette is the hit we want it to be, I don't know if releasing another single before the tour would be wise. We'd end up with another dark horse birthday, this is how we do situation, which we'd like to avoid. Katy has previously streamed live performances for award shows, and in the summer of 2017, we have the Billboard Music Awards and the iHeartRadio Much Music Video Awards. Both of these ceremonies Katy has performed at. So they'd be in late May and June respectively, so we could push our next single. It's the summer, so we need a summer single. At this point, we have 4 singles and 1 promotional single, so this may be where we start to wrap up our single rollout. This is where I think Bon Appetit, Swish Swish, or Hey 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 could finally be released. I think all of our singles have fit into Katy's purposeful pop thus far, so having more of a one-off single to close it out, or a song that seems to be more of a favorite of hers, is probably a good idea. I don't know if I could say which of these songs would perform better, and though Bon Appetit has gained some virality over the years, Swish Swish had more potential with Nicki Minaj. I think Hey 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 could work, so we're gonna go ahead and push Swish Swish and finally close Hey 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 in early to mid-September. I would see this as a song that wouldn't get rigorous promotion if Katy is on tour, so let's give it a moderate peak in the top 30 or 40 with Swish Swish keeping its same or similar position. And if Katy is live streaming performances of Swish Swish during the summer from her tour, it would kind of be a cool idea if she brought Nicki Minaj out for those performances specifically. I feel like that would make great TV and give good viewership. Now, I know that this ends the era on a rather low note, and when we think about reimagining an era, we want it to be as successful as possible. Though this is all imaginary, I just don't see all these singles being huge hits. It's not the Prism era, it's not Teenage Dream. I see this era still ending similarly, albeit a bit better. With these singles ending the way they do on the charts, does that set the theoretical rollout for Smile and how that album would go? Or would it end up performing better? I'm not really sure, but we do know that Smile really ended up where it was because of what happened in Witness. So maybe I will make a video on Smile that follows this continuity. So that integral promotion at the middle of July 2016 throughout the fall into the spring of 2017 is going to keep this era stable before she tours and doesn't promote anymore. Now, Katy managed to do intense promotion during Teenage Dream while on tour. However, knowing Katy at this point is over that type of life and is going through a change of image, pace, and priority, I would not see her trying to ring all those bells while touring Witness. Now, before we get to our final few points, let's review our Witness album's rollout. In July of 2016, we'll get our lead single, Rise, which will receive performances at the 2016 Democratic National Convention, the 2016 VMAs, and maybe Good Morning America. The additional covers during the Olympics, being featured in commercials, and 2 supporting videos will help the song peak within the top 5 of the Hot 100. The iHeartRadio Music Festival and the iTunes Festival fall at the end of September, so we're going to roll out Witness as a promotional single with a very introspective video where Katy reflects on her career evolution. We'll get Chained to the Rhythm as our official second single in September, ahead of these performances, and also have Savage Draft and Into Me You See included in the festival lineup. Chained to the Rhythm will still peak at number 4, and Witness could fall within the top 25 to 30. Ahead of the album's release in late October, we'll continue on with Witness Worldwide on a shortened duration to focus more concisely on the album's material and Katy's educational discussions. We'll get the album at the end of the live stream and a free concert, likely supported with a random entry or a raffle system at a larger venue. Savage Draft will be our third single, getting supporting performances at the 2016 EMAs and AMAs, giving a peak within the top 20 to top 40. Katy will perform a predominantly Witness-oriented lineup at the Jingle Bell Ball and New Year's Rockin' Eve, or a special New Year's concert she hosts privately and is live streamed, or another free raffle. Ahead of the 2017 Grammys, we'll get Roulette as our next single, getting performances on the Brit and iHeartRadio Music Awards, hopefully allowing the song to become a big hit, falling within the top 10 of the Hot 100, but with an edgy video, we may be able to get that number up. Swish Swish will be our second to last single, being live streamed at the 2017 Billboard Music Awards and iHeartRadio Much Music Awards, while Katy is on Witness the Tour. The track finding a similar peak, but if Katy does bring out Nicki Minaj for these performances, it could be a bit more of an event and the song could do better. Hey 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 will be our closeout single in September or so, modestly landing within the top 40. So why these single choices? Both Rise and Chained to the Rhythm offer that political liberation, speaking out against injustices and finding bravery. Witness allows Katy to reflect internally and be truthfully honest with her audience. Save As Draft would be a pretty powerful ballad to give us another internally driven track. Roulette would be more of our pop hit, and maybe it could be liberation of feeling constricted in your work-life balance. Swish Swish would be pretty funny to release ahead of Look What You Made Me Do in August, but we're not going to unpack all that. We do know it's liberation from bullies, and Hey 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 obviously has its feminist implications. To close out, we know that only part of Witness's reception was due to its singles. Katy was enduring a lot of slander during this time, said some sketchy things, rebranded herself, and appeared fake woke to people. What my hope is that with these reordered singles, general audiences may more closely align to Katy's message. I think her message was always intentional, but not conveyed well. There are a lot of things I can't say Katy can or cannot do, such as speaking out ahead of the 2016 election, bringing up Taylor Swift, making comments about shaving her head, or what people perceive to be crazy behavior, or get a haircut. We know all these things turned a lot of people against her, which is pretty unfortunate, but these situations are just as imperative as the album's rollout. They happened side by side during this time. So, do we have a solution for this? I can't say. Katy wanted this period to be a time to really educate herself, and maybe she was misinforming herself or others, or wasn't able to articulate everything she wanted to in the best way. All I can say in regards to any of this is that since Katy is going a more political route, just being conscious of what she's saying and how it comes across is very important, since the internet took absolutely everything she said, ran with it, and tried to embarrass her. It's a really unfortunate situation, and I wish there was a better way to mitigate this, but the internet sucks. There is really a lot to say about this album and this era. It's fascinating. And remember, I've covered these issues in separate videos in depth. So if you want to know more about the Witness album and era, be sure to check those out. So how would you reimagine Katy Perry's Witness, and what album rollout mistakes do you think were made? Do you like my approach, or would you opt for something different? Please let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to get more future content on all your favorite pop stars. And if you'd like to help decide future video topics and get special comment and name badges, I'd love to have you as a channel member. I'll see you next time.